When I saw this interview come up yesterday, I thought this is going to be the interview of the decade. The legend that is Martin O'Neill, the manager that took us to Seville in 2003, the manager that brought us the belief in the club again and brought the club to what it is today. Without Martin O'Neill, the club would not be in the position it is today. It's a simple fact. It put us back on winning ways. And seeing him interview Brendan Rodgers was always going to get that one little question asked from Martin O'Neill. Why did you leave Celtic?
Martin, it was clear when I was here the first time. I had a great spell. And then probably more in my own mind, it was football. I felt maybe I'd taken Celtic as far as I could. And
no, you just wanted to leave, young man.
Yeah, boom, you just wanted to leave, young man. Ha ha! And that smile, a nervous disposition smile from Martin O'Neill, basically bitch slapping Brendan Rodgers back down to earth, is will give a lot of fans a lot of joy this morning and yesterday, having watched that. But let's listen to what Brendan Rodgers his reply to Martin O'Neill was for that.
You just wanted to leave. That's the point.
So, well, the point
Continue
was
that conversation off camera.
Yeah. So, no, I felt that I'd taken the club from a football perspective as far as I could, and probably with my football mind, moved on and went to Leicester and loved my time at Leicester. But I always felt that, and I really should have known better. I think of myself that it was only really when I left that I realised that probably what me leaving meant, not in an arrogant way, but in a way that it hurt people. And I should have known that, being a Celtic supporter, but I was more thinking football and my next football move. So I was very conscious that I'd hurt people when I left, and I wanted to make sure when I come back that I then recognised and realised it is more than that as a Celtic manager. You're not, when it's people's life and the love and the passion that is for Celtic is incredible, and what that did when I left, that didn't sit well with me, and I certainly didn't want that as my legacy. So coming back, I felt I needed to continue to win, which you have to do here anyway.
Do you like that pressure that you have?
I think that I wish that they dived into it a little bit more, because we all know the reality that he buggered off to Leicester, but the fact is that he told Lowell that he was leaving at the end of that season, and as soon as Leicester come into the door, Lowell wanted the compensation. He was never going to allow Brendan Rodgers to leave for absolutely nothing. He wanted the compensation from Leicester. And as soon as that came in the door, boom, he was out. Now, there is an interview with Danny McGrain on this channel. There is an interview with Danny McGrain. I'll put a link to that at the end of this video, and I'll put it in the description also. But it talks where Danny McGrain asks him, the morning that he actually leaves Celtic, Danny McGrain asks him, he has lunch with Brendan, and then he says to Brendan, Brendan, what's this Leicester stuff? And at that point, Brendan's like, it's just paper talk. And Danny goes on to say, don't know, was he talking shite? But there was obviously the meeting in the afternoon with Mr. Lowell, and then it all kicked off from there. Now, we can all talk about the reason that Brendan wanted to leave, and we can all go back to the McGinn incident in the transfer window, and that's really what kicked it off. But it's interesting to hear that Martin O'Neill just turned around and told him the truth. You wanted to leave. He did want to leave, but I think, look, he moved for football reasons. He said, I'd love to he's never going to talk about it on air, is he? I mean, the presenter said, I think you two need to talk about this off camera. There's only so much information that they want to give the Celtic fans, isn't there?
Have to win.
Yeah, I think it's something that when I obviously come from Liverpool, a club you had to win, and then I came to here. In some ways, Martin will say, and maybe back me up on it, the pressure can be more here because you have to win every game. A draw away from home isn't deemed good enough. You have to win.
So is it sort of nice going into a knockout tie against Bayern Munich, where if you won, it would just be the most incredible thing for the club because it's not expected?
Yeah. Yeah, no, of course the expectation here is huge, and there will be supporters will feel that you should still beat Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
But I think overall coming back has been great. Like you say, Martin, a lot of the same staff here have been amazing, both here, the training ground, and at the club.
Yeah.
The support I've had since I've come back has been great in terms of from the board. They've pushed the boat out to help, because I wanted to try and make us competitive in Europe, and they've been able to help us do that, and hopefully we can continue to do that.
Because you said the reason why you left was you felt you couldn't go any further. Do you feel like the bar's been raised now, that's changed, and you can take this team beyond where you ever thought you could take your team before?
I think that the natural evolution here at a club like Celtic is that it's not like, with the greatest respect, you have a team for 3, 4, 5 years. You know, players come here, if we do well,
we sell them
they
on.
get taken and moved on to other clubs. So you'll have a core of players, but there's every 2 or 3 years there's always lots of change here.
Yeah.
But the idea, of course, is to be better, whether you're bringing players in or whether you're developing players that are still here. I genuinely felt that we could do that coming back, and the club have been great in supporting that. So I feel that we've been able to move on and make that progress.
That's an interesting wake-up call. It is an interesting wake-up call for the fans. As much as we would like to see our best players, as much as we'd like to see our best players stay at the club and build something. I mean, Brendan Rodgers has just admitted it there. He said, look, at this club, it's very difficult to try and keep the hold of a core of a team and build something special. And when you look at clubs like Manchester United over the years, I mean, Alex Ferguson kept the basis of the team solid. You know, he kept the same players, and he brought in star players, Eric Cantona and people like that, to try and elevate the club up to the next level. But ultimately, you know, the core base of the team was there. Brendan says there is a core base of a team here, but it's a very small core base when you're talking about the likes of James Forrest, Callum McGregor, and players like that are the core base of the club that will always be here. But it's just a shame that we can't keep some of our players just that little bit longer to try and take us to that next level, and to try and give us that European kick that we need. But anyway, some of the headlines that are going around internationally after that interview, and the game tomorrow evening. Yes, the game against Bayern Munich. A lot of people have already headed to Germany. Brendan Rodgers urges underdog Celtic to be bold against Bayern Munich, is the headline in the Japan Times. They're going to say that Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers urged his underdog side not to die wondering in the Champions League game tomorrow night. Not to die wondering, what if? Bayern is in the driving seat for the last 16 spot with a 2-1 win at Celtic Park last Wednesday. But we haven't made it out of the group stage since 2012-2013, and finishing 21st in the table, which I'm still devastated against, because the Dynamo Zagreb one was a difficult one to take for me, because I thought that was a game that we could have won away from home. You dismissed the Borussia Dortmund game because we were always going to get beat by them. The Atalanta one was a fantastic result, looking back to that. Could we have done better away to Dynamo? I say yes, and I think that if we had done that, we would have been another 2 points further up the table. But when you look at the league, we all know what that further 2 points means. The fact that it would have been a completely different story. But then you look at the teams that we may have got. There's no easy teams at this level, and I still say that Celtic as a club are 2 or 3 players, quality, of real quality. But it's like Brendan Rodgers says in that interview, we cannot keep the players that we have long enough to just add that 3 or 4 players in of real quality to make it a fantastic squad, to have a real attack at trying to get to the last 16 and maybe the last 8. Do you know, maybe that's as far as Celtic will ever be able to go in the modern game, unless you get a lucky draw. You know, luck's on our side. But without trying, and without bringing in a better quality player, we'll never really know. But anyway, some more headlines. This one is from France 24. Rodgers urges Celtic to be bold. Similar headline. Celtic manager urges his underdog sides, wondering, look, it's a must-win Champions League game. We need to win by 2 clear goals. Can we go to Germany and beat Bayern Munich on their own patch 2-0 on the night? If we score very early on, like we did, and we make sure that Harry Kane is not given any space at the back when it comes to corners, we can dream and we can do it. We have the players to do it, and we have the belief. And it would be the result of a lifetime. I think this would it be better than the night against Barcelona? Tell me in the comments what you think. The next one up is the Mail Online. They said Celtic 3-0 Dundee United. Adam Idah gives his best shot, but Dyson Maeda needs to take center stage in Bayern Munich. Do you think that we should go with the front three of Dyson Maeda through the middle? Just go for the pace and just go for it in Germany. We have to just go for it, don't we? And go for it right from the beginning. Jota on the wing, Kuhn on the wing, and Kuhn, well, he could be the one that's going to be sold this summer, but we need something that's just now. Brendan Rodgers doesn't want to sell Kuhn, but with all the money that's coming out of Newcastle and the big spending club that they're turning into due to the fact that they're the richest club in the world, going by owner, will Celtic be able to hold on to him? But that's a talk for another day. Should we go with Kuhn? I think we should. Kuhn on one side, Jota on the other side, and Dyson Maeda through the middle. Just go for it. There's nothing. I would rather go out. Do you know, if we lose 1-0 in the night, but we've went with that strong front three and had an absolute blast of a game and really, really went for it, that would make me more proud than anything, rather than getting beat 1-0 and being stuck and playing a low block. Please don't play the low block. Just go for it and play the Celtic way. Adam Idah, of course, will be given the main role in the front three. He was given the role in the front three in the first leg, but with Dyson Maeda's speed. And we need to just hit them on the break. We've seen what we could do the first game. Unluckily, the goal was offside. But can we dare to dream? Can we really dare to dream? And you can. We can. And on that note, make sure you join me at 8 p.m. Celtic Park time tonight. We'll listen to a little bit more of our thoughts on the game tomorrow night. We'll do a predicted starting 11. We'll do a predicted starting 11, and we'll talk about if we can even do it, if we can just dare to dream and win. You know what will probably happen is we'll win 1-0 and it'll go to extra time, and then they'll just turn up and then they'll just beat us, or they'll beat us on penalties. It's the Celtic way, isn't it? But anyway, at least we're in the later stages and we're in the knockout phase for the first time in a very long time. On that note, have an absolutely fantastic day. Yes, you, if you're still watching, thank you. Have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.